Don't forget, if you or your organization has a need to have any information that's disseminated throughout the village, consider booking the Patricia Lindley Center for the Performing Arts to bring in as many village people as possible. Well, we were talking with Coach and Mason McClellan about the team so far this year. We've talked about safety, we've talked about previous years, and we've talked about how well that the team has done so far in the non-conference games. So now we want to talk a little bit more about the team itself and going forward in Lorain County League. Coach, the importance of seniors this year. You have so many more this year, and they had so much more experience. What's been the important aspect of the seniors playing this year?
I think just that senior leadership. A lot of those guys have played for 3 years varsity football wise, so they know and understand. They played for me last year in similar roles and situations, so they know what I expect. And then even the newcomers that haven't played in a while, I mean, it's a bigger, stronger guy. It's a lot different than we said before. We had freshmen going against seniors last year. Now we have seniors going against seniors, and it kind of puts us in a better position to get done what we've been able to accomplish so far.
Well, Mason, obviously you're a senior this year. With the second year with Coach Howells, what's been the difference, if any, in play calling this year? Is there more passing, more running, more anything?
It's kind of the same. Kind of 75% run the ball, but we just got to execute. Honestly, yeah, it's about the same as last year, but yeah.
Has there been any difference in the execution? In other words, having more people with the experience.
Yeah, I mean, we have added a few more kids to the offensive line and another fullback, and just gotta keep pounding the ball down the field. And,
Well, we'll talk about the offensive line in just a second, but before we do that, Coach, what's the importance of being able to play underclassmen for not only the experience aspect, but being able to have that experience from last year?
Well, I think it's huge. Last year they were kind of forced into a role because of our numbers. And we had a lot of freshmen playing, starting maybe even both ways, and all those freshmen are leading us. I have a sophomore receiver, John Brazee, who's second on the team and receiving yards behind Mason. And I have a sophomore in Ty Moore that's leading the team in tackles from his safety spot, safety outside linebacker spot. So for them guys to mature and grow the way they have so fast has been huge. But I think the key with playing young guys is doing it at the right time. We were able to get some of our young guys in the New London game because we were up so big. Now having these extra numbers and having a JV team for the first time in a few years, that's the right time. Let them develop, learn the system, learn a little bit more football, play guys their age and size and strength, and help them build confidence. And hopefully, again, that just leads to success for them down the road on Friday night.
Well, I'm gonna do some more bragging again. I want to brag on Mason McClellan. So far in 3 games this year, officially he has 323 yards rushing. I don't know how many in receiving, but I'm sorry?
200.
200, okay. But 323 yards, averaging 5.5 yards a carry. That means we have not only a strong runner, but we also have a strong offensive line. What is different this year, if anything, about the offensive line and how they have performed?
Well, they're executing a lot more, and they're getting on the right guys. They know who to block, when, and where. I mean, they're all usually in the weight room all summer, so that was a good factor, and they've gotten a little bit bigger. So, but yeah, they're doing a great job this year, and keep it up.
Well, they've been opening the holes for you, especially the last game against New London. You just ran wild on them, 180 or 90 yards, something like that. But the fact that they now are more experienced and maybe bigger, they know the plays better. Would you not agree?
Correct. They do. They've opened up the holes perfectly for me. It's honestly great to run behind them.
Well, you just brought up a good question for me, which we didn't talk about. How do you look for the holes? You're given the ball in the backfield or pitched. How are you looking for holes, or what are you looking for when you get the ball? Now you're starting to go down the field. What are you looking for?
Honestly, just reading their butts, honestly, and just get to the either read my fullback or one of the pulling guards, and just go upfield, get north.
Well, they certainly have done a great job. And so often, the offensive line does not get the credit that they deserve. And boy, this year so far, they've been opening holes for you, especially in the McClellan game. And really, all 3 games, they've been doing a wonderful job. So congrats to the offensive line. They have been doing a really good job. Well, Coach, obviously, early success does not guarantee success down the line. We know we start Lorain County League play. Comments?
I think it's a wide open league, and our early success definitely does not determine where we go from here. We have to take each week, a week at a time, a game at a time, and see where the chips fall at the end. But this new league brings back some old small school rivals, and hopefully we can at least compete and give ourselves a chance to win in the fourth quarter.
Well, Mason, by the way, is a two-way player. He plays on both offense and defense. Are there any changes this year on defense as far as what you're looking for against the opposite team? We have the scout team, and knowing what to possibly expect, what they're going to do. Is there anything different for you on defense this year and for the entire team?
Honestly, I think our secondary, which was what I play, we're really strong. We try to key on stop, no big plays, keep the ball in front of us, and really changing, kind of keeping the linebackers and the linemen reading their keys and just battle.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought up the word change, because there was a big change in the Western Reserve Rough Riders game. Cody Banish, their one lead back, just seemed to completely shred our line every time. Was always in the secondary, but things changed a little bit in the second and third game. So how did you learn from that first game on defense?
Honestly, practice all that week. We had to go hard. We had to tackle a lot, and we just prepared really good for the next week because we know we didn't tackle that great. So.
Obviously, you had to learn how to key on somebody, or maybe a couple of running backs in the backfield. For a novice like me, how do you do that?
Honestly, just reading their plays, going over film. You just gotta know when they're running to you or your way.
Well, this is going to be viewed much later in the season, so anything that you say, Coach, won't be held against you or anything like that. But now going into the last 7 games, what are the secrets that you and the coaches are going to use to go against these last 7, and as you said, a lot of rivalry games that we're going to be playing here these last 7?
Well, again, I think it goes back to taking each week by week. We go day by day and game by game. Our saying is to win the day, and that's what we have to do, break down each opponent and try to find and exploit whatever we deem their weaknesses that week, from offensive to attacking their defensive standpoint, or defense attacking their offense. And not be afraid to change it up and do something that we haven't done before, which might very well come this week against Black River. So we just got to do what we do and believe in what we're doing and why we do it, and keep preaching that, and live each day by each day and keep getting better.
Well, the last question for Mason, I guess it's more of a personal type question, but it includes the team too. Goals. What goals have you set for yourself this year and for the team?
I'd say be a better captain and leader on the football field, and lead the underclassmen in a good way, in a responsible way. And I say a personal goal for me is to get over 1,000 rushing yards, and win pack definitely is what our team is grinding for right now. We're
not pack anymore, but
win
the conference.
Yeah,
it's hard to switch from the pack to a new league. Yeah, exactly. Well, once again, we'd like to thank Coach Rob Howells and Mason McClellan, who are 2 of the, well, in this case, Mason, one of the, and I'd like to say one of the 37 stars, because we don't have just 1 star on this team. We've got 37 stars, because maybe not everybody will play, but they're always there in practice, and they're always, doing things to help the team become the team that so far that we have become. And we certainly hope that the success continues into the Lorain County League last 7 games. we know that it's going to be tough. We know that we have a lot of really tough teams coming up. And so we hope that we will have continued success, but if nothing else, doing a really good job against these teams, because I do see a lot of success and a lot of difference from last year and previous years. And then, of course, going way back to the year 2000, when for the first time since then, we have a winning record after going through the non-conference game. So we wish, obviously, the entire team the best of luck, also the best of luck to the coaches too. We'll be back again next week for another episode of Dialogue with the Dukes.
Putt.